Hello fellow commanders and welcome to another Steel Division 2 video today with me, Bubblebox, as we move forward to have a look at what's coming up in Phase 3 of the open beta for this awesome new game. The first thing you might notice is that there's still 4 battle groups to choose from, and that's because they've dropped 2 and they've brought 2 new ones in. There's also a new map and some other minor tweaks and changes as well. We're going to have a look at the new divisions first of all, not in detail. I'm just going to point out some of the major differences or the major points about these 2 new divisions that I find really interesting. If you want me to do a complete division kind of review and have a look at all the units, just put it in the comments below and I'll do that for you as well. But first of all, we'll have a look at the 2 new divisions. We've got the 29th Tank Corps, which is basically replacing the other tank corps for the Russians, and we've got 20 Panzer, which is basically replacing the other armoured division for the Germans, the one that was full of Panthers and Tigers, if you remember. Bear that in mind when we have a look at 20 Panzer. But first of all, we'll have a look at the 29th Tank Corps, and it's looking pretty damn strong. Lots and lots of slots for tanks, as you might expect from a tank corps. But here it is, we've finally got the IS-2. You've even got an IS-2 commander in there as well if you want it. But the IS-2 with its awesome gun, 200mm penetration, nice front armor as well. The accuracy leaves a little bit to be desired at 30%, but you can vet it up a little bit if you want, get some commanders and some leaders with it, and it should be able to be used fairly adequately even at range. So there's that. Also, something else to mention with this as well is one of the machines has 2 machine guns, and one of them can shoot at aircraft as well and help you out a little bit in that department. So there's something other ones are going to be running and putting in their decks. Also, you can get quite a few of them. You can get 4 cards of these, and you can bring them in either A or B or C. And as I say, you can bring them with 1 experience as well if you want slightly less availability and a little bit more bang for your buck. Apart from that, you've got all the usual T-34 variants as well. If you want to spam a load of those in alongside your IS-2s, then you can do that as well. That's what is in the Recon. Oh no, there's nothing in the Recon. That was the Germans I was thinking of. So yeah, that's the main, probably going to be the main talking point for the Russian division. However, there's some other interesting points I want to have just point out. In the artillery tab, you can also get a couple of cars of Katyushas. Again, you can bring these in A, B and C. So the firepower that you're going to have in this new Russian armoured division is going to be pretty damn good, with the IS-2s, loads of spammy T-34s and 2 cards of Katyushas, as well as the mortars and a little bit of long range artillery, and even off board if you want to go that way as well. So plenty of firepower in the new Russian armoured division. So let's compare that to the new Panzer division. Let's just discard that, and this is where it gets really interesting. Do battle groups, create, so 20 Panzer. So let's head off as we did, have a look at the tanks, and the first thing you might notice is that you might be a little bit underwhelmed. Where are my Tigers? Where are my Panthers? Well guys, I'm sorry, but there aren't any. You got Panzer IVs, which is pretty much the best you're going to get. You've got 1 Boita Stalin, an IS-2 by any other name. You've only got 1 though, and it comes in Phase A if you want it, so you're going to have to spend all those points nice and early on in the game as well. So there's that. You do get Panzer IIIs now, which do have really nice accuracy at 60%. You get them vetted up, they're going to hit pretty much every time, but you're going to have to get them close because their penetration is 150mm. So these are kind of, you're going to have to get these at least into medium range, probably close range. If you can do that, remembering what's going to be on the opposing side for the Russians, then yeah, then you're going to have to be a good player to do that, I think. And you smoke and all bloody sorts, I expect. So there's that. So they are the fairly underwhelming tanks in this alleged armoured division for the Germans. They have got some good weaponry. They've got some really good anti-air. I mean, they've got 7 slots of anti-air, and it's a lot of it's really good as well. The 37mm, you've got the 88mm as well, the long range SDKFs as well, some, you know, decent, really decent AA, and some nice aircraft. And yeah, for that reason I'm going to tell you what perhaps you should be using this deck for rather than as a complete tank deck, although it's going to be difficult for you in this phase of the open beta. I think we've got some decent artillery for the Germans, including we've got the I don't know how to pronounce this, the Wolframen as well, although again only one card, so nothing too amazing. And you can get, how many can you get in C? You can get 2 in C. Well, actually if you don't vet them you can get 3 in C, 2 in B and 1 in A, so nothing too amazing, but yeah, that's going to help you out. But really the Russians are looking a lot stronger compared to the Germans in phase 3. Now the arguments that the devs will put out for that is that, quite rightly, is that they took the strong German tank division away because they want people to try this division out. They want people to be almost forced to use it so they can iron out any bugs or any difficulties, and so that people can give some feedback on this particular division. So bear that in mind, because otherwise everyone would have just gone straight back and used the other armoured division. Now the counter argument is, well, why bother having this division, because when the full game comes out everyone's going to go for the better armoured division anyway. Well, that may or may not be true, but this is the way the devs wanted to do this particular phase of the open beta, so let's run with it and we'll see what happens. They are far more knowledgeable than us after all. One thought I did have, especially in bigger games, and the fact that this deck has got a lot of good aircraft and particularly got a lot of good anti-air as well, is that in a 10v10 someone might want to use this, and they've got decent artillery as well, might want to use this as a kind of a support deck. Probably not in smaller games, obviously. Even up to 4v4s, if you've got a support player, it kind of detracts from, you know, your overall gameplay as a team. When the teams are close. When they're not close, not so much, but it might attract support players, for example in 10v10s, which could be good for the 10v10 scene. Just saying, they could have done us a favour with this particular division in that respect. Just a thought. Put your comments below and tell me what you think about that anyway, but it's certainly looking like the Russians are getting to get the upper hand in this particular phase of the open beta. Now, as I did mention near the start of this video, there is a new map in the game as well, so we're going to have a quick look at that. So I need to go quickly to solo skirmish. We'll just, yeah, there it is, Autobahn zum Hölle. I don't know how you pronounce it, something like that, I guess. And some awesome new loading screens as well, by the way. Look at that, that looks amazing, nice and bright, clear, fantastic, just some fantastic artistry there. And there's a lot of them as well. There's a beautiful one of a plane, I can't remember what it is, but it just looks amazing. But this is the new map. First thing to notice, there's a lot of roads on this map, obviously, including one that goes straight down the middle and splits the map in 2 halves, left to right. What we are now used to is having a lot of plateaus in and around the place, and that doesn't change in this particular map either. It's not quite a mirror map, I don't think, but it's not too far off, but got some differences from one side to the other. Let's start over on this left side over here. So we've got a huge plateau over on this side, and on top of that plateau we've got another plateau here, so it's kind of got 2 levels to it. There's a smaller one down here, but this is the one people are going to be fighting over. It's got a capture point right in the middle on this crossroads. I think there's one over here, just where they come up onto the plateau as well, and I can't see any others. Oh, there's one over here on the right side of this plateau as well. So this is going to be an interesting area that people are going to be fighting over, particularly this capture point in the crossroads here early in the game for sure. And then it kind of drops down a level, and then it kind of drops down another level, and then it overlooks the road, and then there's a bit of, there's kind of a long strip of open ground there basically, for a bit of tank country or AT country, whichever you prefer. And there's a capture point there, a little bit on that side. There's a capture point here near the front though, just in front of some of these forests as well. Some little forests scattered around in between quite a lot of open ground as well. Over towards the right centre of the map, we've got a small plateau here with a town on top, or on the plateau with a capture point, and then on the opposing side we've kind of got a town instead with a capture point there. In fact, there's 2 capture points in that particular town there, and that 1 capture point here on the plateau. And if you move over a little bit further, you'll see there's another plateau. Well, there's 2 plateaus kind of equidistant from the halfway point that are kind of going to overlook this area, which is going to, I guess, have to be fought over, including a capture point on this road here, which doesn't necessarily favour my side because you've got to go kind of up one of these roads to get to it, whereas on the other side it looks like the distance perhaps is a little bit shorter, so it might even favour that side to get to that capture point first even, I'm not sure. But yeah, so a couple of plateaus. Obviously this player is going to be able to take this face of the plateau, this player is going to be able to take this face of the plateau, and you're going to be fighting probably over this capture point in the centre here where this grass is with the open ground either side. So some really interesting features on this map. Looks pretty good, and should play pretty well, I think. Have to see how it goes. So kind of that's it really. That's all there is to the open beta for phase 3. 2 new divisions in, 2 new divisions out, 2 old divisions out rather. A new map. There's some tweaking and some changes that have occurred as well, which I haven't put in this video. It's kind of minor stuff. So that's it. Put any comments you've got below. Let me know what you think about the balance for this. Well, it's not balanced, is it, for this particular open beta? But you know, let's go with it, and let's thrash everyone with the Russians. And yeah, let me know what you think. I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please do give me a thumbs up. I'll put a link in the description below if you are interested in this game. I'll put a link to the developer's website. You can go and pre-order it if you want. And that's pretty much it. Subscribe, don't forget that if you want to see some more, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.